ModSlap, baby ModSlap, ModSlap. I can't imagine overexposure to a thing you dislike paves the way to disliking it less.
I'm missing something. Something. But what?
That ledge. The same ledge every time.
But what could I possibly be missing?
There were those coins, the several jumps, the aforementioned ledge.
This isn't fun. In fact, I really don't like this. I would never actually sit myself down and play this game in my free time.
Ah, that explains why we're both here.
I'm missing some part of the epitomical fun equation that makes this game fun, Andy. I've glued us to this couch until we figure out what it is.
The whole couch, though? Was it necessary to throw me at it, then jump on afterward?
No, but this is hilarious to me.
Tell me what we're doing in this episode of ModSlap.
Andy, this equation of fun is missing a vital piece from Super Mario 64, namely fun. No matter how many times I return to this game and no matter how much time I place between tries, I just can't enjoy this game. Its wonky physics, haphazard platforming, edge detection of a Roomba rolling down the stairs, none of it entices me to try this again.
Super Mario 64 made waves across the gaming industry when it came out in June of 1996, and is widely regarded as the father of 3D platformers and the internet's favorite game. But years of improvements to the genre and better 3D Mario games give us pause when returning to the N64 original, specifically James.
So I took it upon myself to find a way to make it fun, because again, it is not. I searched far and wide and far again. In my searches, I found a handful of ROMs and Romhacks that take the Mario 64 game and mold it into something exciting, something shiny, and in some cases, something totally new. In this episode of ModSlap, we're going to see if any of these things can make me hate Mario 64 a little bit less.
Quick note, all of the to-be-mentioned ROMs and ROMhacks were entries in a Simple Flips Mario 64 Zelda Hacks competition from 2020. Please enjoy.
The first one of these I decided to sink my teeth into happened to be called The Soul of Legends, which I gotta say has an interesting presentation. Not a hint of regular Mario 64 stuff to do anywhere. Same Mario movements and animations, but different Mario-like world. I'm intrigued.
Talking to the blue bob-ombs around the area will give you a little context for the world, except in the case of this one at the bottom of the well, which seems like a cruel joke, similar to this sign at the top of a displaced Peach's castle. It's even across the way from a door that looks like it should lead somewhere. It doesn't.
One of the blue spheres tells you level order doesn't matter, but suggests Blast's Dockyard is probably the best place to start, even though it's listed as Course 2. Another not-so-Mario-looking area greets you, and so do Deku Scrubs?
Their behavior is that of Goombas, don't freak out. That is a fun switch-up, though. You'll also notice coins are rupees and stars are stars, but gray! And they don't take you back to the hub world after grabbing them, which is a huge improvement. What is not an improvement is the lag. Lag will happen periodically. It doesn't affect things too much.
There are level-specific stars in each course in this game, in addition to a 100-coin star and an 8-red rupee star. Some stars will have you find them in places, others will have you fight bosses, like these Womps, who will very easily gang up on you and walk through each other to kill you, or this King Bob-omb that has been recolored. Bosses and enemies have similar behaviors to Mario 64, even though the bosses that talk to you now each take 8 hits to defeat and their subordinates still take 1.
In this hack, you even have a sick nasty beat to defeat bosses to. Yeah. Run around King Bob-omb, or Blast for the purposes of this hack, 143 times while this remix breathes new life into the Superstar Saga battle theme. In fact, all the music in this hack is pretty good, except as loud as Nehru 1 in Goron's Keep.
It had one moment we liked, when it ended.
The story of this hack is... oh, it's in a TXT document that comes with the download. James, can you lower the opacity on some gameplay, slow it down, and I'll just read this in a foreboding voice to simulate an intro?
Yeah, sure.
The ancients spoke of a power so deadly and fearsome it had no choice but to be locked up forevermore. The culmination of the power of all the souls in the universe. The legend soul. The soul, the very essence upon which life is based. In the far-off land of Draylen, power and souls are one and the same, and if someone were to control the power of the soul, they would hold dominion of the power of life itself. After receiving a vision of the cataclysmic destruction of Hyrule, Zelda sent her most promising knight, Link, to end it before it began by collecting the legendary ancient soul.
All of that made 100% sense. You'll go to each of the 4 levels, exploring and checking under bridges to discover 28 stars in the game, 7 per level. Luckily, not all of them are needed to make it to the final boss, so if this fucking wall jump bullshit star eludes you, you can still make it to
Bowser. You still spin him, you still toss him, and you only have 4 hits to do it before you start all over again. It is a pain in the original game, and it's a pain now.
The Soul of Legends is a competent improvement on Mario 64. It removes fall damage, and that was about it. Wall jumping is still as terrible as it's always been, Bowser is still shit, and boss behaviors were changed to make them more difficult. This is a fine hack, but it's still missing the element of fun that Mario 64 sorely lacks.
I'm sure even more Mario 64 exposure will help you find it.
What if there was a boat?
Is that the King of Red Lions? And Wind Waker music? And Green Mario?
All yes. This is On a Boat 64. It's like Mario 64, but a boat!
You appear to be on an island playing Outset Island's theme in a carnival merry-go-round sound font. There's undulating waves and toads in huts, and a sign that immediately greets you. As it turns out, this is regular Mario in green clothes. Who knew? And you ended up shipwrecked on this island.
Similar to most Yeast games, their ship was struck by a storm on the way back to the Mushroom Kingdom, and Mario has no memory of it. Toad tells Mario there's a lead to get off the island in the cave to the right, and traveling in reveals a portal behind a big rock and another Toad that tells you about it. He tells Mario of Pearl Stars that can help him move the big stone. 10 in total.
And so your adventure begins. James immediately swam into some depth charges, then into a whirlpool which killed him. He then put on his thinking cap and began searching the island.
I found some toads with helpful information about the areas we would travel to, coins are now rupees again, and some sound effects were even changed to improve the experience. Unfortunately, entering caves resets your rupee count and your red rupees, but as long as you stay out of those, and don't die, you'll be fine.
20 minutes of exploring, and frankly awful platforming later, and we finally come face to face with the King of Red Lions, who is stuck in a wall for some reason. Pressing this button will fill in these translucent red boxes and allow you to sail the Great Sea. This is mostly a venue through which to access the other areas of the game as long as you sail directly into the arrows.
The first area oh, okay. The first area I found was a pirate ship. The first mission is Cripple the Shipple, which is a lot funnier to me than it is to Andy.
The 2 ships here are fighting. Your job is to sneak onto the darker ship, talk to the red Bob-omb, unlock the cannon on the lighter ship, and use that to launch Mario into the sails of the darker ship.
I died about 12 times trying to figure this out because I moved when I spawned into the world and the ocean drank me. Or shoddy collisions caused me to run into walls. Or the camera was garbage. It took a few tries, but after I destroyed the sails and the star appeared, I didn't know how to get to it. I do not understand what you're supposed to do. Each time I landed on the darker ship, you have to jump back to the lighter one, and it's just treacherous and awful.
Whoop. Guess we're done with that area. So then we went to the west area, where we were immediately met with a lore dump from the Red Lion King, who tells us there's a sea monster on our rudder, and we gotta run, but not to worry about him because he's wood, and sea monsters don't eat wood. What follows is
fog-burning bullshit of the highest caliber that makes me almost retch at the thought of trying again. It's an obstacle course you have to do while a flying sea monster is constantly on the chase. How on earth are you supposed to do this? Any of this? One touch from this thing and death. Just death. Fuck this.
The east area is a smaller level where you must dodge octo tentacles while finding and running through 5 rings. Upon doing that, a star will appear, and when you approach it, the octo will teleport Mario into its mouth and spit him into the ocean, where he is immediately slurped by the sea.
I did this twice. Twice! Suck a fuck!
I think you said...
I know what my words are. This is a worse Mario 64 hack than Soul of Legends, and certainly more frustrating. I honestly can't think of a single improvement over the original game that this hack has. It will even throw you into the sea if you move at all upon spawning into each level. This one has 0 fun factor and gets my vote of nope, no thanks.
How about we tone down the Zelda? And tone up the Zelda!
That doesn't make any sense.
It's me, Mario!
Makes sense now, doesn't it? Look at all the Zelda in here! There's a Triforce on Mario's hat! He's wearing green! The Kakiri Village theme! The forest biome! There's a lot of Zelda to be found here.
I never found an NPC who was willing to explain the story, but what we did find was fall damage has returned, and so have many of the original game's sound effects. Mario enemies have new textures on them to resemble Zelda-like ones as well.
Each area is this incredibly vast expanse of geometry that doesn't make a lot of sense with several stars spread throughout it. Unfortunately, each star found takes you back to the hub world, so that returns. At least you can marvel at the sheer size of each level as you get hopelessly and endlessly lost in each one on your hunt for any star or any red coin.
I'm going to say this too just to emphasize how important it is. The levels are fucking huge. Fucking huge. You may never find your way back to where you fell off the fucking geometry for the 700th time, and it's annoying.
Also, why does talking to each Bob-omb play such an ominous sound effect? Why does talking to signs play the Koopa race starting sound effect? What the den are we doing here? What are the stars important for?
I do not know. I simply took us to the next vast and ginormous area.
The very rare third mention. Any more and we void the warranty on our house.
We should have a talk with the bank about that.
This new area, Anchor Bay, has a very loud and very bad remix of Dragon Roost Island playing while an ocean covers the area. Many islands are dotted throughout it, and your goal is to get the 8 red coins as your first star. After searching for a while, James became immediately distracted by a clam that had a star in it? What?
Sometimes my intuition surprises me too. Let's go to a third level called Dragon's Keep, where some Metroid music is playing. This is a vast lava-filled area with orange crystals jutting out everywhere that will burn you if you touch them for reasons. This area is a bit more coherent than the other two while still being very hard to navigate. I never found out how to get atop the lava crystal because they burn you, but I did get all 8 red rupees and almost 100 coins.
You also somehow fell through the floor into a lava crystal and the ground consumed you.
Yeah, I did that too. Let's go to the 4th level, which we are not going to read, but definitely has the greatest presentation in this hack so far. It's a train, one with some shockingly lax codes on weight distribution. This is going to kill somebody.
Along the way, these Yiga creatures with banana hands will occasionally pop up. Throw them like you do any Mario enemy. Unfortunately, this area, while being the smallest of the ones we've encountered, is still too big for its own good. There are several enterable areas that will upset your sense of direction because these are doorways to other big areas. This is ridiculous! There's no sense of space or direction or progress because everything is too big to keep track of.
Also, some geometry is entirely meaningless as you swim through islands and fly through a pirate ship's mast for no reason.
At least you don't need to collect all the stars to fight the final boss, Bowser. Unfortunately, you need a degree in Marionomics, a bachelor's in Womp Sciences, and a master's in
Patience. A master's in patience. Yeah, this one is done. I'm done. This is another Mario 64 hack that fell further off the mark than the first 2 hacks did. This one looked fine from the view of the train, but nothing else has any sort of value to it. It's too big, too wide, and just too unimportant.
So this one is a bungle. Let's try one with more Paper Mario in it.
This one is immediately better than all the ones so far, specifically because of the camera. No camera noise! It's a 360-degree camera. It's fucking perfect. This is one of the few things Mario 64 could do to improve itself immensely. Oh my god, this is excellent. I just want to sit here and spin the camera around forever. No fucking sound effect, no snapping. It's perfect.
Anyway, this hack starts with a letter from the princess requesting Mario's presence. To our surprise, Mario is just Mario here. No silly hat, no weird symbol, his eyes aren't flipped. He's just Mario. Peach is just Peach, and the Toads are... wow, they look closer to their 64DS models. To the background music of a remixed Toad Town, Peach tells Mario Bowser holed himself up in Peach's castle and placed a barrier on it. She then directs him to the Toad next to her to learn how to break it.
Toad tells Mario of 3 mythical blocks he must find in order to power himself up enough to break the barrier. Luckily enough, the first one is located nearby in Hotfoot Ruins. But what is this? A Paper Mario block blocks the way before you can even get started.
To get the hammer, you must enter the minigame house, ask to play the Toad's minigame, borrow his hammer, then leave. The game encourages theft. Kind of worth it though to see Mario take on a new animation and a new ability with his famous hammer. It'll break blocks, defeat enemies, and allow Mario safe passage to Hotfoot Ruins, which will test Mario's strength, apparently.
From here you will take on several trials designed to not only test your Mario 64 platforming abilities, but your patience. Your first challenge is these jumpable platforms, then these falling rocks. They'll hurt, and if you touch the lava, you'll warp back to the beginning of the platforms.
It's kind of enchanting to see Mario 64 physics operate on a 360-degree camera because your long jumps can be so much more accurate.
Holy shit, using the hammer feels so natural and perfect. Coins are coins and other sound effects remain unchanged. The UI no longer considers lives or money. Coins are strictly for healing purposes. Health is denoted by these hearts up here, 2 hits per heart equaling a total of 8 hits.
After besting this first room, you come to the second room of the trial, which has a moving platform, a tiny ledge, and a locked door. Upon further looking around, you'll see platforms just below the door you entered from. The key is atop one of these spires. Then you must climb out and reach the door. Good note to have, dying does not reset acquired keys. You'll keep them when you start the area again. Very helpful.
Several hundred tries later, and I finally made it into the locked door. The chest inside gave me the Minish Cap, which while standing on these things will shrink me down and allow safe passage along tiny areas.
I thought I recognized those.
Yep. Go along this tiny ledge, take down the bully via interesting means, then stop playing because beyond this point there's nothing left for you.
What? What about the rest of everything?
Oh, fuck that. Anything that puts this spinning platform on it, rotating as fast as it does so you can't get a foothold, does not deserve any more of my time. I was rooting for this one. This one had the most promise by fucking far, but it went and squandered it. I went back into the area a dozen more times, and that platform tripped me up each time. I'm not sure what happens past this point, but I really want to know.
Star-Sealed Castle definitely built on the Mario 64 formula and gave Mario not only a clear adventure and goals, trials to get through, and no silly stars to collect, but you got new tools with new animations and a 360-degree camera. Unfortunately, it is still addled by Mario 64's wonky physics, edge detections, and this spinning platform. I'm not sure if James will ever return to this one, but it definitely got the closest to the fun factor he was looking for.
I got one more here called Mario's Adventure 64. I spend the least amount of time with this one because, well, you'll see.
This one opens in a forest with Mario having equipped himself with a sword and a shield. Plumber's tools are either getting more expensive or more dangerous. Anyway, the sign in front of you as you spawn has the credits for this ROM hack as well as the story. James, can you do the prologue thing we did earlier? Thanks. Mario received a letter from an archaeologist about a fascinating new discovery. He didn't go into much detail, only to find him in Wenzel Village. The wealthy family that sponsors the expedition gave Mario new weapons since Luigi broke Mario's hammer while repairing the roof. Not that preposterous, you could use Mario's hammer on a roof in the last hack we played.
I suppose the gathering of cabins where you begin the game is Wenzel Village, but there's no indicator for that. Just a handful of toads and a bunch of lag. So we traveled into a forest where we learned the annoying as fuck camera noise is back. Talking to the toads around the area really didn't enlighten us to our adventure, and neither did collecting coins.
How about that cave?
Oh, a level. A sign that warns of a broken camera that will break further upon dying, so just don't die. Excellent. Upon making it to the end of the platform path, I died because, of course, and lo and behold, the camera fucked up. The platforming from then on became absolutely impossible.
One game over.
Reset. One reset later.
One reset later, and we decided instead to enter a huge tree. This is at least better than the broken platforming camera.
For about 4 seconds until you need to actually progress, because then your progression is based on the god-awful wall jumping in this game. Seriously, paired with the input eating, I stopped right there. I don't care, you're basing my progress on a broken ability that barely works in the original game. I am done.
This one didn't last long, but I feel as though it would not have delivered on that fun factor you're searching for.
None of them did. All of them have these glaring flaws that feel more like torture than they do for fun. Is that what we see Mario 64 as? Torture we can alter but never attempt to fix?
I doubt that's the case.
I do not. I feel as though these were designed with Super Mario Maker-like intentions, to make the contest runner give in to frustration instead of for any substance or lasting appeal. Each of these have the bones for excellence, but they tripped up and made progress almost impossible because they were built to frustrate, and that's just not what Mario 64 should be. We should aim to fix the issues the game had, not emphasize them.
You're just gonna have to face it, James. You're doomed to love Mario 64, lest the internet call you a big whiny baby man with baby hands who plays baby games and has baby opinions.
No. Mario 64 is not fun. It may have been when I was young and blinded by excitement, but I'm an adult, and platforming adventure games have improved. Mario 64 was revolutionary for the time, but it's not fun now. Plus, things can be revolutionary and still be bad. Super Mario 64 was revolutionary for the gaming industry. Game of Thrones was revolutionary for broadcast television. The Last of Us was revolutionary for people with no taste.
So the search continues for the definitive bit of fun that would complete your epitomical fun equation?
It does. Thank you for joining us for this episode of ModSlap. What do you think of Mario 64? Has it aged well, or is it something that desperately needs improvement? Be sure to let us know in stunning detail. Also, if you want to try any of the ROM hacks we included here, their links are in the description. Thank you, and see you next episode where we'll find the mod with the highest detailed feet.
Unacceptable. We are not doing that. My burps are oniony.